What if I told you that a Formula One world champion from 1980 believes Oscar Piastri has the one thing Lando Norris can't match, a mental edge? That champion is Alan Jones, Australia's last F1 title winner, and his words are shaking the McLaren garage right now. As the 2025 season enters its final stretch, Piastri isn't just leading the championship, he's doing it under the watchful eye of his country's racing legend. Jones has publicly said Piastri is one of those rare drivers who succeed no matter what. And for Aussie fans, that's more than pride. It's history repeating itself. Think about it. In 1980, Jones carried the weight of a nation and delivered Australia's only F1 title. Now, 45 years later, he sees that same fire, that same ruthless mentality inside Piastri. And according to Jones, that's exactly where Norris falls short. But is Jones right? Is Piastri truly the mentally stronger driver, and is that what could decide this world championship? Alan Jones doesn't mince words. At 78, the 1980 champion has seen talent come and go. But when he talks about Piastri, his tone changes. He's committed, he has one goal, and he will do whatever it takes to achieve it. Now compare that with his take on Norris. According to Jones, the Briton is a bit mentally weak. That's a heavy criticism, especially in a championship decided by the smallest margins, where mental strength can be worth more than a tenth on the stopwatch. And the 2025 season has already shown examples. At the Dutch GP, Piastri kept his focus, won the race, and bagged crucial points, while Norris retired with car trouble. At Monza, even without victory, the Australian didn't crack under pressure and secured a podium. The result? A 31-point cushion in the standings. For Jones, that's no coincidence. It's the mark of a driver who lives for the cockpit, who avoids politics and lets performance do the talking. Maybe he's smarter, he stays on his side of the garage, a man of few words. But does this reading put extra pressure on Norris, or simply confirm what many fans are starting to believe? Officially, McLaren insists they won't pick sides. The team repeats the same line: equal treatment, equal opportunity. But as German pundit Christian Danner put it, circumstances can change everything. And it's easy to see why. Piastri and Norris aren't fighting for third place, they're fighting for the world championship. Every race, every pit stop, every strategic call means balancing not just two cars, but two clashing egos. So far, McLaren has managed to maintain the appearance of neutrality. But when Verstappen snatched victory in Monza and showed Red Bull can still steal big points, the question looms: how long can McLaren afford not to intervene? Alan Jones believes that if the team must choose, Piastri is the one with the mentality to carry the weight. Some drivers enjoy more of the time outside the cockpit. With Oscar, you know he's all in. In other words, if McLaren has to bet everything, bet on the Australian. But inside the team, how does Norris react knowing the shadow of Jones and of an entire nation is leaning on the other side of the garage? Lando Norris has always been seen as McLaren's homegrown star. Charismatic, adored by British fans, the face of the team's future. But in 2025, that narrative is starting to crack. While Piastri builds momentum with wins and consistency, Norris faces a quieter question. Does he have the mental toughness to be world champion? Alan Jones was blunt. Anyone who admits to a slight mental issue has already lost before it begins. For Jones, vulnerability is not in a champion's DNA. That hit hard. After all, Norris has been open about his mental health, a move widely praised by fans. But in the paddock, where performance is everything, that honesty can be twisted into weakness. And this is exactly where Jones says Piastri has the upper hand. Recent results don't help Norris fight back. At Zandvoort, he lost a haul of points. At Monza, even while fighting for victory, a slow pit stop and Verstappen's pressure left him only second. Every slip adds fuel to the debate. Is Norris buckling under the weight of sharing a garage with someone as cold and calculating as Piastri? If the garage feels tense, outside of it, the battle is even louder. On one side, the British fans who see Norris as McLaren's rightful champion. On the other, Australians who haven't had a title hero since Alan Jones in 1980. In Australia, Piastri is already celebrated as the next inevitable champion. Sports shows describe him as disciplined and ice cold. And when Alan Jones himself declares Piastri has a mental advantage over Norris, it feels like a torch being passed. In Britain, the narrative fights back. Media outlets argue that Norris has raw speed, that all he needs is cleaner weekends and a McLaren more united behind him. But every time Piastri stays calm under pressure, that defense grows weaker. It's become more than just a title fight. It's a cultural clash. Australian resilience versus British flair. And with every race, every pit stop, every wheel-to-wheel duel, the divide gets sharper. But inside McLaren, are the engineers and strategists also quietly picking sides? On the surface, McLaren says we're one team. But history shows how fragile that is. Think Hamilton versus Rosberg at Mercedes, Vettel versus Webber at Red Bull. When two drivers fight for the crown, cracks always appear. Insiders already suggest that some engineers feel closer to Piastri, impressed by his calm approach. He doesn't complain, he avoids drama, he just delivers. In contrast, Norris has been more outspoken in questioning strategy calls. Alan Jones captured it perfectly, calling Piastri psychologically shrewd. He sticks to his side of the garage, says little, and avoids politics. That kind of profile can win silent allies, even without an official team order. Here's the dilemma. If McLaren openly backs one driver, they risk implosion. But if they keep balancing the scales, they risk losing crucial races to Verstappen, Ferrari, or Mercedes. It's the classic problem of a top team. Risk harmony to secure the title, or risk the title to protect harmony. As the season nears its climax, each track becomes a test not just of speed, but of nerves. And this is where Alan Jones' theory of Piastri's mental edge could truly be tested. Next up, Singapore. A hot, suffocating street circuit where one lapse of focus can end a race. It's exactly the kind of marathon that separates the ice-cold from the aero-prone. Many believe it could be the perfect place for Piastri to stretch his lead. Then come Suzuka and Austin, fast and technical tracks where Norris has often excelled. But can he turn that raw pace into wins if Piastri is always lurking, always applying pressure? And let's not forget Verstappen. With his Monza victory, Red Bull proved they can still pounce on McLaren's mistakes. One botched pit stop, one team order gone wrong, and the title fight could suddenly open back up. Every race is now no longer just a chapter in the championship. It's a mental duel. Who handles the pressure better? Who turns nerves into performance? That may decide whether McLaren crowns a British star or Australia's next world champion. Alan Jones isn't just a champion of the past. He's living proof that Australia has climbed the mountain before and can do it again. His words hit like a seal of approval. Oscar Piastri will do whatever it takes to win. For many, that sounds like prophecy. For others, it's extra weight on a young driver's shoulders. But the truth is, in 2025, Piastri has already proven that he's not just a promise, he's the real deal. Each victory, each podium, each duel with Norris strengthens the narrative of mental toughness and a ruthless focus. Meanwhile, Norris must prove that he's not only quick, but mentally strong enough to be world champion. The talent is unquestionable, but as Alan Jones reminds us, in Formula One, the fight isn't only against the clock, it's against your own mind. So now the question is yours. Who will hold their nerve to the very end? Will Australia celebrate its first champion in 45 years? Or will Lando Norris silence the critics and show he too has the heart of a true champion?